Hello everyone, welcome back to Bonnie and Clyde Discuss. Today's topic is why women prefer red pill guys.
I don't exactly know what that means.
Well, we've got 6 lovely clips, entertaining clips I hope, that will guide us through the journey of figuring that out.
Yeah.
Ready to get into it?
Yeah.
Let's get to the first clip.
Okay.
Do you guys prefer a player or a virgin?
Virgin!
Why?
Because I want to taste
I
virginity.
would love to make him experience
I
that.
want to feel his pain.
Oh, girl, she went dark.
Explain. What do you mean by that?
You know, it hurts the first time.
Not for a guy. Not for a guy.
You're
That's cool. It's cool. Are you guys good?
Love you.
We got one clip.
So, a couple of drunk people to start us off.
Yeah.
The question, I think, was do they prefer a virgin or do they prefer someone with experience? So, I don't really know how this relates to the red pill type thing.
Right.
But I guess it's kind of like how experienced does a guy need to be before a woman finds him attractive? Thoughts?
You know, it's interesting, but I think both can be attractive. I think it's nice sometimes to have someone who is inexperienced, that hasn't been through many women, hasn't had so much heartbreak, hasn't, decided to go all the way, and you're the first and it's special. And I think vice versa. I think men like that about women as well. But a more experienced man is always good because, of course, you want them to know what they're doing. So I can see both sides.
I can see that. I think from a woman's perspective, at least from my interactions, like they want a guy to take the lead, especially kind of sexually. They, want to be pillow princesses quite a lot of the time and be led down that journey. So I think, yeah, she might say, yeah, I want a virgin and stuff like this, but really in the back of her mind, nah, she's lying to you, unfortunately.
You don't think it's true?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, I think, they want to experience new things. No one wants to sit on the couch, well, especially women, I think, sit on the couch and say, I'm going to have a crappy experience with a guy.
What if they're just great out the gate,
They could be.
They're just completely gifted.
Yeah, sure.
But then where does a virgin go to get his experience?
Some other virgin. Kind of enjoy it together. Take the experience out together.
blind leading
the
the
blind
blind.
leading the blind
Okay.
and fumbling every time. All right, first clip done.
Yeah.
On to the second.
Yeah.
Would you prefer a masculine man or a submissive man?
That's a good question. I want masculine, but also I want him to submit, but only to me.
Submit in what way? What do you mean?
Like, take care of me, do what I say,
Okay.
when I say.
Would you really want a man to do that though? Wouldn't you want a man to be more dominant?
I do. Like, if we're going to dinner, I want him to say, we're going here, and we're gonna eat this.
So you like that?
Yeah.
You like it more of a masculine man then, right?
Yeah.
So how does she submit? Or how does he submit to her then? He's gonna do everything. He's gonna tell her where to go. He's gonna be the masculine man, but he's gonna submit.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Because when she says shh, the mouth goes whoop.
Right. So she's gonna be the masculine man.
Sometimes yes, most of the time no.
I think this woman has no idea of what she wants.
Well, she might not know the definition.
Of masculine or submission?
She might not.
I think she's got some learning to do.
Yeah.
Send that woman back to school. I think most women want a masculine guy. Like, we're talking generals here, right? There are obviously women that want one way or another. But I think the majority would say, okay, I want him to make the decisions. I want him to pay for dinner. I want him to make my life easier. I think that's the standard philosophy that women kind of go for. But I think now more men are wanting that as well. And like a little bit more of a balance. So I think where she's getting a little bit confused is like currently how society is very woman, submissive, male, masculinity is still more prevalent, right? But it is very much swapping around to a certain degree and becoming a little bit more of a level playing field.
Yeah, some blurred lines maybe.
Bit of blurred lines.
Yeah. When I was younger, I wanted someone to take care of me, and I envisioned having a husband or a partner that would do everything for me, decide everything, because I was used to my parents doing that, and it came natural. When I went through my college years and I became a feminist, I wanted to be the masculine one, and I wanted a man to submit to me. Now that I'm older, I'm in my 30s, I think I can do with equality. Sometimes you're going to be dominant, sometimes I'm dominant, but it goes both ways. Like we said, the lines will blur.
I've got to be honest, after I've had a really kind of bad day at work, the last thing I want to do is like be making more decisions. So I think the ability for your partner to do some and then you to do the rest is fine. And I think that's the perfect way to run today's society.
Yeah, that's true equality.
True equality. With that note, on to the next clip.
If you are a boring, nice man, do not date. And don't let a woman find out that you're willing to spend money. Okay, don't date. You're gonna get used. Don't be surprised if your girl You find out she's been, doing a little extracurricular activities with another man, and you be like, wait, what? I never saw that coming. Like, that's not for you. You're too good for him. Well, yeah, I know I'm too good for him, but he's not boring.
This type of woman is also the same type of woman we see time and time again. She looks for excitement in her young years when she's beautiful. Give her to the age of about 35, fellas. She's going to be looking for a guy like you to settle down. And now all of a sudden, she's going to want a provider and a protector when they really don't give a fuck about providing and protecting at a certain time in their lives. She clearly just wants excitement. And she's actually distancing herself from the structured men, the men she can have a good, fulfilling life with. She don't want that. A lot of women just think they can just pawn themselves off to men and have all kind of crazy sex. And then when they're finished, we're just going to be over here waiting for them. And they got a rude awakening. If you were doing that in your youth and in your beautiful years, and you don't want to give that to a structured man like me or like my guy, then you stay in the streets.
Stay in the streets.
Stay there. You don't get to come over here no more. You gave it to them. I don't want it.
So, interesting clip. Got any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, it's interesting because I feel women have been doing this for so long, and now the men have finally caught up to our game.
Well, we always knew it.
Yeah.
It's just now we've got platforms to be able to showcase it, right, and talk to each other.
Damn.
It's been an army of one, and now it's an army of 10, maybe 100 against our your thousands and hundreds of thousands, etc.
Yeah.
But I think it's an interesting one where, and we've talked about it on previous episodes, where a man's value over time increases and a woman's value over time decreases to a certain degree. He said 35. I think that's roughly about where we kind of put it last time. And there is definitely a change where women get to like 30, 35, somewhere between, a different note for everyone, and then they want a different thing. Right? And unfortunately, the different thing that they're now looking for is gone off the market, right? And I can't remember the analysis that the guy used from the app from the Census Bureau.
Oh, 5.6%, right?
5.6%. That is a terribly small number, right?
Yes.
So if you don't have someone, and again, there was another article, like, I'm not doing my coding very well here, right? But we were saying like the number of single women into their 30s was now also exponentially increasing. So you've got a more exponentially increasing amount of women that are just finding that they can't actually get what they're looking for.
Yeah.
Because their expectations have been set so high at the beginning that they're trying to get higher and higher and higher, because we know that women want to date up, don't really want to date down. So they're going up and up and up, thanks to social media, thanks to Instagram, thanks to likes, right? Thanks to all of those. And no real accountability until you get to the age of like 30, 35, and then you figure out that actually there's no one left in the dating pool for you.
Yeah. Well, I would posit this. Okay, so in the previous clip, we saw that a woman wanted a virgin, right? But that's not real. She doesn't want a virgin. She wants someone that's experienced. So in order to get that experience, a man has to go and sow his oats, have sex with as many women as he wants to. So we've been seeing that. That hasn't just started. That's been the norm since
like that.
way back. Even in 1800s, when you are with your aristocratic man, he's probably had an affair with an older woman. Like that was the norm.
Yeah.
That happened in the Age of Innocence. Anyway, so now I think the modern woman has watched that for a long time and has decided, I want to do that too. I want to have fun, and I want to have sex with as many men as I can.
I'm going to go and get my cake.
Well, I mean, they've done that. Men have done that. Now women want to do it. But now, on the flip side, when women are ready to settle down, they get called out for being sluts and skanks because they've had sex with many men, whereas men have had sex with many women too. So why?
But I guess this is the difference between, a male going out to a club or a bar or your local gym or whatever, right? Wherever you want to get your rocks off, right? Go and find your woman. It's incredibly difficult for a guy to get an acceptance from a woman. Right? If you go up to maybe 50 girls, maybe one or two of them will talk to you. And out of those one and two, probably none is going to take you home at the night. That's the vast majority of men, right? You flip that around and you say, okay, women go to a club and find a guy. That's their remit for the night. Maybe 100% success rate. Maybe 90, maybe some don't find, but it is completely the opposite of guys. You go, you wear a short dress, you flirt, you'll be successful in your job, right, as a woman. So that's where, if I go out to a club and I try and hit on a girl and I get successful, and I get successful with hundreds of women over the course of, like, let's say a week, God help everything about that situation. But let's say that happens, right? I'm considered a stud because I have been successful so many times. But as a woman, you don't get that success. That's just given. That's just, you go out and you do something. There's no success there. There's no accomplishment there. There's no real well done there. That's just there. You've been open to guys that are being successful, right? And attaching your body to them. Right? There's nothing in it. You're just doing it for the sense and purpose of doing it. There's no accomplishment. That's why it's devalued in society.
Well, can't women be getting experience as well, so they can be the best sexual partner that they can be?
Sure, but if they want to be valued by the men and have, men account for 50% of society and women account for 50% of society, right? So societal norms need to account for both of those percentages, right? As a balanced metric. Maybe we're going a little bit too far, but at least it has to be a balanced metric, right? So if 50% of your audience says that you're doing something and we're devaluing it, you have to take account of that, right? If you're running, let's say, a YouTube channel, you need to understand what your audience is doing. If you're running Fox or CNN, you need to understand what your audience is doing. Women do not understand how to take accountability from their audience.
So upholding the double standard.
Yes, I think we got there in the end. Hope you sticked with us in that one, guys. Let's get on to the next clip.
Let's just be real. Unless you are just the biggest hoe on earth, you probably haven't even ran into less than 1% of the population. Just within your city and in your immediate area, whatever, let's be real. How many people have you actually dated and dealt with? For you to say and actually fix your mouth to say, all men aren't shit that you picked. You have a choice in it. You don't have to deal with this guy, but you do because that's what you wanted to do for whatever reason. As a result of that, predicated upon your own choices, everybody has to be ain't shit? No. At that point, the common denominator is you.
So, men ain't shit.
It's a myth.
Thoughts?
Why can't we all just get along? I mean, this sort of thing makes my head hurt. Like, I really don't like that we have gender wars and that, somebody has to be the prize. Both of us can't be the prize, or can we both be the prize? I don't know.
Maybe none of us can be the prize.
None of us should be the prize because humans are terrible as a whole. Dogs are great and they should rule.
So maybe the Cocker Spaniel of the world should take the relationship and say, you can have her,
yeah,
or he can have
or the
her.
Golden Retriever is the alpha.
Yeah, definitely the Golden Retriever.
And they decide everything.
I feel like we're going down too much of the dog avenue,
Going down the
unfortunately.
dog
Let's
hole.
come back to human nature. So I think we can combine this a little bit with men ain't shit and women ain't shit, right? Because both camps are around about the same thing now.
I actually was going to say it reminds me of the other video we watched in which the woman chose felons and ass whoopers because that's what she wanted.
Oh, yeah.
But then says, men are terrible.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I chose this clip, because I was like, they're pretty similar. But this goes down the kind of why do women prefer red pill now, is like there is a almost sense of men know what they want, right? Women know what they want, right? And now we're starting to see that actually both genders can go after what they want, right? For maybe the first time in a while. And this is where I think a lot of the conflict is coming, because like it is not necessarily one gender saying, hey, I want this, submit to me. Now that could be the alpha male, it could be the alpha woman, but that's kind of happened a lot. Now we're able to find, by virtue of the internet, and we have access to the entire world dating market, really, right? If I wanted to go and find a date in Thailand, all I have to do is change my location in Tinder and I can go find somebody, right? So I have full access to everybody. There's a lot more globalization. Like I can go to Miami for the weekend. I can go and dance my pretty little ass off and try and find someone that way, right? So there's a whole load of accessibility now. There's a whole load of understanding who you are, because like mental health is a thing, right? Mental health has been able to kind of come to the top as a pandemic of certain nature issues in the
necessary.
US. It's necessary. So we have all of these kind of things that have now kind of made us a little bit knowledgeable about who we are inside. Lovely little YouTube channels that kind of talk about relationships, fantastic. And we're now coming to this chorus of like, how do women identify the men that they want? And I think it's based on these clips, the ones we just watched, of understanding that not all women, as you rightly said, are on a pedestal, and not all men are also on that same pedestal, and dating what you want. That's my point.
What you want, what you deserve, what you need. it's difficult. I mean, maybe you can find that 1 in a million in the 5.6% that's eligible for you, and maybe you haven't had lots of experience, and you find or you have, and you find someone who's accepting. I mean, it's just finding that person, right? Doesn't that? It just comes down to that.
I think so. Absolutely.
My head hurts.
Let's get on to the next tip before your head explodes.
Ladies, you have been warned. Scroll. Y'all really out here throw pedo, misogynistic, narcissist, all these words that you guys don't even know. Baby, it's a big word, I know, but you don't know what it is. Because when y'all older women are dating these young cats, no one's telling y'all nothing. Look at Megan Fox, all these women dating these young guys. Stop it, and everybody loves it. So why when it's a man, y'all gotta sit there and say he's a pedo? Just stop, bro. And on top of that, aren't y'all out here sucking old balls for a Gucci bag? Cállate. Aren't you guys out here cash at me this, cash at me that, playing with old balls, knocking the dust back on that throat with those old Please stop. I can go on for hours and hours and hours. Stop using words you guys don't understand.
Do we understand what a narcissist is?
Do we?
Do we?
Do we?
Do we want to explain?
Someone who cares so much about themselves that they don't mind hurting others, and they fake human emotion to reel people in.
Yep.
They also are very, very good at making the situation all about them, making the partner feel like they've done something to hurt them, the narcissist, when the narcissist is the one that has caused the terrible situation.
So I think $50 to our Venmo, please, for the English lesson. So thank you for that, for that, Bonnie. But also, like, there's two common words that come up, like, on a lot of clips, right? Misogyny, right, is a big one.
Oh yeah.
Then they ask what misandry is and never have an answer.
Yeah.
Right? So I think there is a big misunderstanding. Well, not misunderstanding, but I don't really know what the other phrase is, right? Of where women plainly don't like what a guy does and label it misogyny.
Yeah,
right?
That's a misnomer.
Or you're narcissistic. Or you're something else that's a bad word, right? And really what it is you just don't understand or don't agree with the point that they're trying to make, right? 90% of the conflicts that seem to happen have that, right? So I think we've watched at least one Jordan Peterson clip on here, and I'm sure that at some point there'll be a clip from Andrew Tate or some other high profile of that day's alpha male or whatever they want to call themselves, right? And some of the points that these guys have are valid. Some of these points are absolutely stupid, but some of them are valid. And some of the ones from kind of the alpha woman that have similar type channels are probably valid. And some of them are probably crap, right? Everybody has mixed viewpoints, which some people aren't going to agree with, and some people are, right? That's kind of how the world works, right? Not everyone agrees on topics together. But to just say that one person is completely something or completely something else is just factually incorrect. Everybody is an asshole and everybody is a nice guy. It kind of depends on which day of the week you meet the man, right? And I think everyone just takes everything far too singularly nowadays.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, hyperbole is a thing, and millennials often speak in hyperbole. I mean, my God, everything is a huge deal. We blow it up out of proportion because that's just the way we speak. That's millennial speak. So yeah, I might call you a misogynist if you do something to me that I feel is rude. And that's just because I feel like saying you're a misogynist is not actually true. Although there are people on the internet who believe that misogyny and misandry are legitimate monikers to place onto people, and it's probably not necessarily true. I'm only going to call you a narcissist if you are acting in such a way that you are the definition of a narcissist, and we shouldn't really bandy those words around unless they're actually true.
Yeah. All right, should we get on up to the final clip?
Yeah.
Most women aren't even curious about men.
What do you mean?
Okay. Ask a woman what she wants from a man and she'll give you a thesaurus, a list, an encyclopedia. Ask what she brings to the table. You can't even write it on the back of a stamp.
Okay, so Kevin Samuels, a bit of a return to the channel. What do you think?
Well, gosh, I mean, I only have my perspective as a woman. And yeah, we're taught, let's say, by parents, by mothers, that you need to have these certain qualities in a man to make a good partner, husband, what have you. And there might not necessarily be a long list of things that you bring to the table, but I know that my upbringing was, okay, yeah, what can you do? Not necessarily what can you bring to the table, but I'm raising you with values that you can then bring, and they are unspoken. It's kind of like, yes, men might be masculine, we want those qualities, but the things that make a house a home are what women bring to the table, and that's what I was taught as a young girl.
Yeah, and what he's trying to say is the majority of women don't think that way, right? They will and we just talked about, is kind of put them onto a pedestal and say, okay, I am the prize, therefore I don't need to bring anything with me to the relationship. And that's kind of what he's getting at, is 6 foot, you know, the 6'6", 6 foot, six
Figures.
6 figures, 6 foot, 6 inches, right? Those are the 3 things that, you know, and then a massive list of like, must be funny, must be handsome, must be ethnic, must be X, Y, Z, right? Must be black, must be white. All these different things that women have as their checklist of items, right? And then we flip it around and say, okay, great, I'm that guy. What are you going to do for me? And then it's usually a blank stare. That's the issue, like, you know, from personal experience on a lot of dates as well, that we don't get anywhere with that kind of question, because now it's very much a, you're going to pay, you're going to make everything work, you're going to organize all the dates, because I'm going to sit back and enjoy myself, and I'm going to be your trophy piece.
Well, I guess to be the trophy piece, though, maybe it's an unspoken, like, I'm going to keep up my appearance. I'm going to spend money going to get a blowout, to get my makeup done, to buy clothing. So my money is going to me to look good for you.
So here's the skinny, I think, that most guys, hopefully I'm not being too...
Here's the skinny.
Who's the skinny on the guys, right? Like, you need to be a certain level of attractiveness for us to date, right? That could be, you know, some guys it could be as low as a 4 or a 3, or
And you're saying
5
the
or
women
6.
need to be that level, or the men?
The women, right?
Okay.
So when we're looking for potential, you know, dates and stuff, we're looking that somebody meets our like minimum attractiveness.
Okay.
And then we'll go for it, right? Whereas women are looking for the best that they can physically get. So like for me, I don't necessarily need a 9 or a 10 or whatever. I'm more than happy with kind of a 5 or 6 from a attractiveness level, so long as they hit okay, they're a human being, they're pretty funny, they're intelligent, and all the other criteria, right? But I have what, you know, the attractiveness in particular is one that I don't really care about. And I really focus on what we're going to be as a relationship. But that's where kind of it doesn't really work the other way around. And that's where like Instagram and all the like platforms have really kind of shoved it away from relationships and taken it into this altruistic kind of futuristic kind of, I need absolute perfection, otherwise I settle for nothing. And I will not give the guy as much as the guy gives me. From the majority, again, majority not, there are individual cases out there for absolutely sure. But as a generalistic dating, unfortunately.
Yeah, and then you have the men who do the same, right?
There are,
like
yeah.
we saw in clips previously where, you know, from the cartoon where he printed out the picture of the hottest girl in the room and stuck it to his forehead and had to have that. There are men who were like, I must have the most beautiful, most attractive XYZ. And what do you bring to the table? You're just a man, and therefore you are?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of kind of, yeah, I put it from the male perspective to you, and you put it to the woman perspective. That's the whole point of this, right?
Yeah.
But there are definitely evil people on both sides.
Yeah, but what it seems like is that our traditional, for lack of a better word, system is breaking down.
Yes.
It's not necessarily a given that just by virtue of being a woman with our special womanly gifts, that's not enough anymore.
Well, it's twofer, right? So it's you could be modern or you could be traditional. And people separate those out. And I think you can be traditional and modern both at the same time. You can have modern values, but you can still be feminist, or you can be masculine. You can, for the guys and for the women, you can be those things. You don't have to separate them out. Be a modern woman, but be feminine. Or be a modern guy and be masculine.
So they're not mutually exclusive of what you're saying. There's a Venn diagram, and you can fit in the middle.
You can fit in the middle, but most people just don't want to. Now, modern women want to have the traditional guy, the guy to open the door, the guy to treat them like the queen that they are, but they refuse to do the traditional sides that accompany that, like the cooking and the cleaning and etc.
Is that why you don't open the door for me?
That's why I don't open the door for you. Yeah, but I want to treat you like an equal.
Lord help me. Okay, applications you can apply at the link below.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've had some controversial topics today. If you agreed or disagreed, make sure you get into that discussion board below on the comments section, and we will see you in the next video. Goodbye.